This episode of WDW Today is being sponsored by MEI and Mouse Fan Travel. And Reunion 2010 is coming up. What is Reunion? Well, it's a fan gathering, and you're invited to Reunion, and you can be part of the fun. Not only just coming down to Walt Disney World and joining us for all of the fun events, which are at reunion.wdw.com, but you can book a room package with MEI and Mouse Fan Travel, and they're going to get you not only a great rate on that room, but they're also going to include free admission for 2 guests to their client appreciation signature event and 24-hour head start on any Reunion events, tickets that go on sale down the line. And certainly there are going to be some. So check them out online at www.mousefantravel.com.
This is Walt Disney World Today. Give us 5 minutes and we'll give you the world.
It's Wednesday, August 18th, 2010, and this is episode 761 of WDW Today. I'm Matt Hotchberg of StudioCentral.com. Joining me on today's show is Len Testa, co-author of The Unofficial Guide to Walt Disney World. And Len, as a Mensa member, I need your assistance here. The new name for the Star Tours 2 attraction is going to be Star Tours, The Adventure Continues, yet the attraction takes place as a prequel. So how does that work? Isn't that like a time paradox?
The adventure continues in the past.
We're going back to the future.
Back to the future. It's by the same people who did that. That's awesome. Is it really? The adventure continues?
Yeah, but it's a prequel. It takes place earlier than Star Tours.
That's classic.
Also joining us on today's show is Mike Newell of Mouse World Radio. And Mike, I gotta say thank you, big thank you, Mike, because I was actually asking Len about that conundrum, but you always help me out, buddy, with my moral conundrums.
Oh no! No matter what they call it, I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna go on it every time.
There you go. Also joining us on today's show is Mike Scopa, a senior feature writer and blogger for alleears.net. Welcome, Mike.
I'm not supposed to leave my vehicle.
Oh,
I'm not supposed to leave my vehicle.
I know this.
Great movie ride.
Yes.
There you go. Probably why it sounded familiar.
Fuse guys.
It's Wednesday, and we're answering your listener questions. Let's start with a question from Jillian from Morgantown, West Virginia.
Jillian.
Love the podcast. I listen to it all day at work. Even though my productivity has dipped, I'm a much happier person for it.
That's really what counts.
That's right. Never mind what your boss says.
Yeah.
No more muttering about the building on fire. Obvious Office Space reference. A movie made less famous once you are planted in the office environment.
That's my red swing line stapler.
Anyway, we'll be taking our first trip in December 2010, just before the Christmas crowds. I'm wondering about dining. I made all my advanced dining reservations, but we would really like to have a seafood treat, since it's something that we don't get much around here in West Virginia. Hubby and I... Mountain Road.
Mama.
Thank you.
I belong. Take you.
Lance, you just started.
I'm trying to squeeze it out before our free dining credits, which is why there's not Fulton's. Plus, we have kids, so no go to the Flying Fish. Your thoughts would be greatly appreciated, and please keep me laughing. I just listened to the live 10 Fest show, and it was a hoot. Newell may be a cheater, but wins for being the smart one.
I didn't cheat.
She knows the show very well.
So kids, huh?
All
So
right.
yeah, kids, and I
Edit out.
guess
Edit out this question.
thoughts on Cape May.
But
Mike?
okay, so
Scopa.
oh please, I mean, let me just do Scopa right now. It's not from New England. It's not good seafood. There, is that not?
mimicry. I love mimicry.
I love mimicry.
Does he
Yeah,
do the all the time?
he's a northern pirate.
Pirate Scopa.
Exactly.
Let me put it this way: I think the four of us are kind of down on Cape May. What's the official guide say about that? Just curious what the readers have to say about that kind of.
About Cape May.
Yeah, I'm curious about that because I know that Scope is not a big fan of it. I'm not a huge fan. I'm a fan of it for breakfast, but that's not seafood. That's just your typical Disney character buffet.
It's funny. The first time I ever reviewed a buffet with Bob, it was Cape May, and it was one of those 3 or 4 hour ordeals where he sat and ate every mussel and clam that could be found within a 1 mile radius of the beach club.
And
I think it was okay. I mean, at the end, I was they give you paper tablecloths.
Yes.
And crayons to color on, and I was essentially coloring on the crayons like I'm done, I'm so done, I'm ready to go. that was that. Let's see, Cape May. Hold on.
See what the good book has to say about this.
I am flipping through the thing on it. So the menu includes snow crab legs now, doesn't it?
Well, it includes lots of seafood, but the question is it any good?
Yeah, hold on, I'm looking.
Seafood.
No, I kind of spoke for you, but I assumed you weren't a huge fan of it.
I'm not a huge fan of seafood, so
Oh, well, that'll do it.
yeah.
I don't know. Every time he sees food, he eats it.
Waka waka.
I guess we're all on a seafood diet.
Cape May Cafe, 3.5 stars. Moderate cost. Quality is 3.5. Value is 4. Not a dining destination, but it's a favorite of Disney cast members who like it because it's quiet, the service is quick, and the food is dependable.
And they've never eaten seafood in
You
They're
didn't
from
do.
West Virginia, so I mean,
Oh, yeah.
but isn't like Maryland known for like it's? I mean, obviously West Virginia is close to Maryland, but I mean they have awesome crabs over there, so I would think that it would have some sort of inclination of decent.
The shellfish is different from.
Yeah, you're right, Mike. That's a good point.
Actually, so the last line is interesting. It's a convenient and affordable place to dine before illuminations. That is a good point. So it's probably good. The kids bar includes chicken fingers, hot dogs, fried fish, and mac and cheese.
I think it's one of those restaurants that's good, not great.
You know, there are certain restaurants down there that can offer you certain seafood entrees that are okay. I think that most of the salmon entrees down there are okay. I think that probably the haddock's okay too, and that's about as far as I would go.
Is haddock the same as cod?
It depends upon who you talk to. It's pretty close. I think haddock is a little bit more flaky, a little bit more tasty. Probably.
Okay, all right.
Let's go to our next email. It's from Sam Genoway, friend of the show.
Oh, sorry, Matt. Before you finish that one, I want to say the flying fish is probably okay with kids because it's just so loud.
Good to know.
All right, go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, that's okay. Sam can wait. He's not.
On to Sam.
He's
Sam is
really
one of
not
my favorite-
important.
Sammy.
Sam is important. He's one of my favorite people.
Sam wrote to us about an email about the monorail and the e-ticket show we did, and he writes about we were doing that e-ticket show on the monorail. And he says, tried to post a comment on your log and says it didn't like me, but anyway, the monorail debuted in 1959 as the original e-ticket attraction. 3 big attractions opened on one day: the monorail, the submarine voyage, and the Matterhorn. The monorail was only a small loop at the time. It did not connect to the Disneyland Hotel until a couple years later. Love yelling at the radio when these things come up.
That's awesome. Hey, do you know that the Matterhorn was the first steel tube roller coaster in the United States?
I did read that. Yes.
I keep having to tell our researcher Kelsey in Disneyland that's a fact, and she doesn't believe me. And by the way, that's totally not true because she actually knew that and I didn't. And now every time I see her, I actually have to tell her that. It's kind of like a little inside joke. So Kelsey, if you're listening, by the way, the Matterhorn was the first steel tube roller coaster in the United States. Go ahead.
Nice. Next email is from Heather in Asheville, North Carolina. Writes, for the last 11 months, my husband and I have been listening to your podcast. You all have gotten us through many a long night with our newborn daughter. Thanks for the humor, insight, and kindness just when it needed it the most.
Thank you.
Here's my question. If you could design a pavilion for World Showcase at Epcot, what country would you choose? What attraction, food, movie tie-in, etc. would you want? Pretend money, space, and other typical roadblocks are not a problem. Scopa?
Wow.
Of course, it goes to me first.
I love this question.
Let's see. I think I would go Egypt.
Good call.
Actually, Egypt, and there would be a Egyptian food, Middle Eastern food, real Middle Eastern food, and there would be an attraction called the Pyramid. And in the pyramid, it would be a maze, and it would change every day. They would be able to shift it around, and it would be sort of a dark ride, but it would also be a little bit of a walk, and there would be changes in there. So, and a couple of mummies and things like that. Yep.
Good choice, Mike. I was thinking Greece.
Oh, so was I. You.
I thought it's a great food. That's always seems to be the most important thing about any World Showcase pavilion, potential one. Great food, a good cultural history, so you can definitely come up with a good attraction from that.
Yeah, what's Greece ever done?
Nothing in the last couple thousand years, but before that,
I know.
really big.
I mean, yeah, cradle of democracy. Yeah. Modern mythology, whatever. But
What about you, Newell?
I was thinking Australia.
Another good choice.
Then are they known for their cuisine? I'm not sure, but
I know they have good
When was
wine.
the last time you said, you know what I could really go for? Some Australian food.
Well,
It's
I mean-
you know what I could really go for? Some Viking food. It's just, nobody says
That's
that.
true too. And I was thinking that for an attraction, some sort of outback ride where you get into a jeep and do the.
They have that at the Animal Kingdom. It's called the Safaris. Kilimanjaro.
I'm talking about at Epcot, silly boy.
Now that's alive.
Next email's from Mark.
Hello.
Hey, what about Len?
Oh, I think your boy was Greece. That's what it sounded like.
I had a backup. Backup.
Sorry, go ahead, Len.
I would actually not go with a country. I'd go with an entire subcontinent, and that would be sub-Saharan Africa.
That's a mighty big land that you just.
Well, but then following my own criticism of Newell's idea, well, they've already got that. It's called the Animal Kingdom. But yeah, so there you go. So, but I think you could do that. You could do things like diamond mining. Where everyone goes into the pits and gets their own diamond mines. And Naomi Campbell can be running around going, I don't see any diamonds. I don't see any diamonds. Hysterical. And
Go
there'd be
bobbing for snakes.
bobbing for snakes. Exactly. Every once in a while, a villager would pop out from behind a wall and shoot you with a tranquilizer dart. I think it'd be hysterical.
Yeah, that'd be very culturally beneficial.
Yeah.
Piranha in the lake. It'd be great.
Move over, UN. Next email's from Marge D of
You,
Oakland
Len.
Gardens, New York. I'll be traveling to the world with my family in August for 8 days. I was fortunate enough to receive the 2010 unofficial guide as a gift. I was pleased to see that the Kim Possible World Showcase Adventures got such a good review, since it's something I've never done before, and it sounds like something the whole family, Moody tween included, would enjoy. What's the best way to fit this into our touring plans? From my understanding, you get a FastPass type ticket to get your communicator, but how far out is the return time usually? Is it just one country per mission? How many missions will they let you do in a row? Should you sign up soon after arriving at Epcot, or is it something that you should arrange for on your way to dinner in the evening?
Oh, I would definitely do it. I would definitely make your arrangements mid-morning. You can always show up, just like any FastPass, you can always show up later. So if you just want to send one of your family members over to the Future World kiosk to sign up, it's halfway between the end of Future World and World Showcase, right down that middle stretch of Epcot. Just go grab one of those, and you'll either show up at the near the UK Pavilion by the International Gateway, or back there again to get your communicator. Then they'll give you they'll assign you a country somewhere in World Showcase. Once you show up at the country and you do your first adventure, you can keep going to any adventure you want. You don't have to go back. You can just continue on wherever you want to.
Cool.
Right.
And they are a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, they're a lot of fun for
They
adults,
are.
kids.
Oh,
I think it's a great addition that they made.
I think it's a hoot.
When I take Hannah now, and we really have to allocate a couple hours to it in World Showcase, which is fine. I mean, she runs around World Showcase and does a lot of stuff and she enjoys it. But it's probably one of the best additions to World Showcase that they've had in years.
Cool. Next email is from Doug Weaver, Olive Branch, Mississippi. Right, so I'm responding to a couple other listener questions or comments that I heard on previous episodes. First, one listener had just asked about guaranteed adjoining rooms at Disney resorts. My wife and I just returned from a trip to Walt Disney World, staying for the first time at Port Orleans French Quarter. We had a great time and loved the resort. We had one small problem. Our room in Building 5 had an adjoining door to the adjacent room. We discovered to our dismay that we could hear our neighbors' conversations, and presumably they could hear ours, through the connecting door.
Yep.
And to make matters worse, they were night owls, and we hit the sack early. Unfortunately, the room air conditioner fan was not loud enough to drown out the extraneous noise. I wound up downloading a white noise MP3 and looping it on my PC all night so that we would not be disturbed by the chatter. So lesson learned, make sure you do not have a room with an adjoining door if you don't need one.
That's a great tip. Did you guys remember the talk that I had about my last day at Pop Century?
Yes.
That was brutal, and it had a connecting door. Just ask for one. Don't ask for one if you don't need it.
Yeah. Also, you got to know the Disney speak. There's a difference between an adjoining room and a connecting room.
Yeah, you don't want a connecting room if you're not actually connecting.
Yeah. Another listener was commenting on how best to manage large groups touring the parks together. The listener was recommending splitting up into smaller groups, then rejoining at specific times during the day for meals or special attractions. I completely agree with this plan. It has worked well for us on many trips. However, the listener forgot one extremely important point. Always have a time limit on the meetup time. For example, we'll meet up at Cosmic Rays at 1 p.m. for lunch. If you are not there by 1:15, we proceed without you. There are so many ways, both intentional and unintentional, to get sidetracked or delayed in the parks. There's no sense in making other people wait unnecessarily when you are late for a rendezvous. So lesson learned, always have a time limit for your meetup times. Good suggestion, Doug. Thank you.
That's very good.
Next email is from Alyssa Hoffman of Appleton, Wisconsin. I just have to write and say thanks for all the information and entertainment provided in your podcast. My husband, 2 sons aged 7 and 4, and I went to Walt Disney World for our first big family vacation this past week. You'd answered a question of mine about this in an episode back in the first part of September, and I was really concerned about the crowd levels. So did it work out? Absolutely, unquestionably, yes. We stayed at the Contemporary, which I would highly recommend as a monorail access was a really good thing that week, and used early extra magic hours. Even though it meant getting through the parks by 7 a.m. each morning, it was so worth it. We used a touring plan from the unofficial guide, and they worked even better than advertised, since each day we were able to complete the entire day's plan by lunchtime. And yes, we were doing it in a relaxed manner, doing bathroom, snack, souvenir stops, and as needed with small kids. It was unbelievable. We rode Big Thunder Mountain 3 times in a row, literally walking right onto the ride, each time from the standby line. We walked right onto almost every ride. The longest wait we had for the 2 days we rode were Soarin', and there was 15 minutes each time. We used FastPass. I was stunned.
That's great.
That's really great. Thank you so much for the feedback, Alyssa. Next email is from Steve, Aaron, and Ginny. Greetings, Matt, Mike, Len, and the Fabulous Annette. I'm Steve from Maryland, and I have a question concerning an upcoming trip end of January. Soon. We have been to Disney World nearly every year since our honeymoon in 2004, but have not yet been to the Animal Kingdom. My wife just became pregnant, and now we're congratulations on the newborn. We're concerned that we won't enjoy our first plan. I'm pretty sure it's a newborn already.
It's probably graduated college.
Yeah.
We're concerned that we won't enjoy our first planned trip to the Animal Kingdom. The headliner is off limits for my wife as most of the other attractions, including the ones we're looking most forward to. Kilimanjaro Safari, which claims that it's not for pregnant women. We checked the 2010 unofficial guide. Thank you. But it only briefly mentioned the ride vehicle. We're trying to find out if Disney is being overprotective or if this ride is actually too bumpy for pregnant women.
Yeah.
My wife will still be out very early in pregnancy, but in the first trimester. So we are a little worried about that ride might be too much for it. What are your thoughts on that?
Too bumpy.
I mean, as my wife is pregnant currently, I would say you always have to err on the
side caution.
Side caution, yeah. With that kind
Unless
of stuff,
she's overdue,
yeah, you need a little kick, I would definitely, if there's a warning that pregnant women should not ride it, then you got to take that advice. And I understand exactly what you're talking about there, Steve, because going to Walt Disney World now with my wife, there's so little. Well, not so little, but it's just the premier attractions that you want to ride are the ones that she can't take advantage of. So it's kind of disappointing in that regard. But you get a newfound appreciation for rides like the TTA or that's a TTAP, right?
TTA People Mover.
TTAP?
Yeah, Tomorrowland Transit Authority.
TTAPM.
Exactly. Next email is from Karen from Regina, Saskatchewan, Canada.
Ooh.
After listening to episode 660, I started to wonder what determines the length of certain episodes. At the end of Listener Question Show, you have Mike Newell pick one email from a possible 3, but in this one you stated there was X amount of time left and that 3 emails could be answered quickly. Is there something that has you wrap up a show at predetermined time? Just wondering. Monday and Friday shows, we try to shoot for somewhere between 15 and 20 minutes, and the Wednesday shows, we allocate about 30 for it. So if we can, we try our very best. That's why when we get close, Newell gives me the warning.
And that's going to change in September. Ooh.
What's going to change in September?
You're fired.
You need to go to the meetings, Len.
Yeah, seriously.
Read the memo.
Oh, okay. Read the memo. All right, never mind.
Irene from Wellesley, Massachusetts. That's pronounced Irene. Oh, sorry. Irene from Wellesley, Mass. Hello, you handsome son of a gun, as well as Matt,
Hi.
Newell, Len, and Annette. Scopa? Really? If I give a day and I have already booked a Magic Your Way package, can I apply that to my package even though it's might be only one day?
Let's go answer it then.
Ask that quick. Say that again.
This is your listener. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's
Go ahead,
right.
pretty boy. If I have the give a day, get a day ticket,
Right. Yeah.
booked a Magic Your Way package, can I apply that free ticket to a package?
I do not believe so. I would check with guest relations when you go in. I believe it's separate, but it's a separate kind of thing. And from what I understand, it would not hurt to talk to guest relations on that. But I got to bet that it's separate.
Yeah, as with anything, I always give it a shot. You got nothing to lose.
Yeah.
Next email is from Alex from Huntsville, Alabama. In episode 663, Mike and Len mentioned the number of calories burned per hour during a marathon. Perhaps they should try a sip and snack half marathon. Start in Mexico, have a snack or refreshing beverage, run a lap around World Showcase, and continue on to Norway for another snack, another lap, etc.
Would that work?
I calculate it would be almost 13.2 miles to Canada
Yeah.
and some maple syrup. I tried to calculate that possible calorie count, causing a brownout over three counties and killing a portion of the internet before my processor.
You don't live in Canada, do you? No. Okay, good. Just checking. That's interesting because it's like 1 point something miles around the World Showcase countries, right?
Yeah, it's 1.1, I think.
So if you, that would be almost exactly a half marathon.
Yeah, but you can't run with all those people. It's tough enough running with the people in the marathon.
You could do like a slow jog. Yes, I love this idea.
Like Chariots of Fire?
Da na 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 na. Da na 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 na. I love this idea. I think we should do this. I think this should be one of our reunion events. It should be like the undetectable half marathon, so that if Disney catches you, you're automatically out.
Next email is from Colm of Hull, England. All right. Me and my fiance are taking a trip to the world in August. Due to the budgetary constraints because of the cost of flights, we were looking at spending 2 weeks at Pop Century. Due to the dining offer currently available in the United Kingdom at the moment, we were surprised to find out that it would be £200 cheaper per person to stay at Port Orleans. We were then even more surprised to learn that it would be almost another £200 cheaper to stay at Saratoga Springs. We eagerly took this discount. My question, however, is this. Have I traded a couple of £100, I think based on today's exchange rate, it's about $650, for an awful experience travel-wise? The unofficial guide makes it sound like hell getting through there to the parks. Should I just walk down to Disney and get the buses from there? Or is there a quicker way? Bear in mind, we cannot rent a car without paying an exorbitant amount, which is something we are loath to do.
So, I mean, I think we've talked about this before. Transportation at Saratoga Springs is bad. Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Yes, we know. We remember.
The bus service is atrocious.
Yeah, you really have to allocate an hour each way.
Yeah,
which is a lot.
Now, if I was going to save $650 and not have to stay at Pop Century, I would still do it.
Yeah, I mean, the rooms are better, so it probably is a decent trade-off. They can't rent their own car, though, right?
Yeah, they can't rent their own car.
Yeah, what are you going to do? All right.
I mean, they're there for 2 weeks. It's not like they have to make the most of 4 days. You know what I mean?
No, that's good. That's fine. So, yeah, so just leave it by 15 minutes early each, 15 minutes earlier each day, and you should be fine.
Okay. Next email is from... Who's next one from? Oh, it's from Felipe from the Netherlands. Just saw her yesterday. 2 days ago. First off,
you went to the Netherlands?
Yes, I did on my lunch break.
Wow.
First off, I love the show. Keep up the great work. I saw her at the studios. My question is the following. My family usually books concierge level rooms. If we have an unregistered extra guest in the room, who would be enjoying all the concierge amenities? Does Disney get more fussy about this? We tried it on our last trip and nothing went wrong. However, we couldn't help feeling that they were doing something illegal.
Yeah. No, they don't care.
Now, there's every room, depending on the category and resort, allows X amount of people per reservation. Let me give you an extreme example. In Fort Wilderness, we learned during 10 Fest that you can actually have 10 people on one room reservation. So they'll print you 10 room keys, and it'll be whatever the rate is. That's what Disney allocates for you. In many cases, that's 4 people in most normal hotel rooms. But if you're staying in suites or something like that, the amount changes. So as long as you're within those confines, it doesn't matter if you've got 1 person or 4 people in there. As long as you're the rate is the same. The exception is certain rooms I want to say the value resorts. If you start having 3 or 4 people, they start charging you extra per person.
Yeah.
But yeah, if they allow it, there's nothing wrong with that. Next email is from Dan. I just wanted to tell you how much I enjoyed episode 660. Boy, that was a popular show. You ended the show with 2 of my questions, and when you guys did the one about are Scopa and Newell the same person, I was on my route delivering mail when I heard it and started laughing out loud. People must have gotten scared to see a mailman laughing by himself in a mail truck. I'm glad Mike and Mike took it in stride, and you did the New York accent and the park the car in Harvard Yard bit. You guys are the best. I guess that was the one where someone wrote in and couldn't tell the difference between Newell and Scopa based on their accents.
Wow.
Hey, forget about it.
How you doing?
How you doing? Hey, park the car in Harvard Yard.
Do the bit. 2 quick questions from Dr.
Walk in here.
Dr. Don Collingen. Right. 2 quick questions, 1 rhetorical, 1 not. First, I noticed 3 rooms on the end of the giraffe side of Kidani Village. Room 7264, 7364, and 4754. Are these rooms something special, such as grand villas? Probably guessing so.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know. What are the room numbers again?
7264, 7364, and 4754.
I don't know. That's interesting.
And the second, more rhetorical query, only 2 smoking areas for the whole place? What the?
Well, it's bad for you.
It's bad
It's
for the animals.
Kidani Village is talking about.
You can't even get real
all
straws
hotels and
there.
everything to limit the amount of smoking in all those areas. So, next email is from Chris from Gaithersburg. You were right about that in the American Adventure would not be an e-ticket. Remember that tickets were also used for crowd distribution. Very few people would use the cherished e-ticket on American Adventure when Soarin' and Test Track were running. Also, Interventions and Club Cool would be free. France's movie would be an A, and China and the Canada movies would be Bs.
Oh, good point.
Yeah, I mean, there's the tickets reflected obviously popularity, but also trying to distribute crowds. They would give, they make certain things free.
Smart. Yeah. That's a great observation.
Cool.
I think if they still did that
time for our last
today.
question, Noel?
Oh, 1 minute. I think if they still did that today, there would be a sponsor coming in, just like Eastern Airlines did if you had wings, and would pay for that. This way, it would be a free ticket.
Yeah, I mean, that might be. You're right. I mean, that may be the case. Can I get on my soapbox for a second about sponsored attractions?
Sure, my guest.
It's not 1964 anymore. I think sponsorship for attractions is an outdated idea for Walt Disney World, and the fact that they use it as a crutch for not building new stuff, I think, is just silly. It's this isn't Disney that they made a movie and they put all their money into it, and if they didn't go right, they wouldn't have any money. Today's world, if they can get a sponsor, great. If not, just build a stupid thing. You're going to make their money on it. I mean, I always find that annoying that that's a crutch for why certain areas are closed or not don't do anything with. So that's just my
then they never would have built American Idol at the studios. That would have never gotten built if someone else had come in.
You're right. That's the only reason it got built.
It's true.
And I don't agree with it. I think they should have just built something anyway.
But they didn't. For years, it sat empty. I agree they should, but they're not.
I agree with you, Mike. I'm just saying that I'm preaching that they shouldn't wait for sponsorships. They should be proactive in that. If they can get a sponsor, great. But if not, don't let that stop them from spending a little money to build some new stuff out there.
Don't let the sponsorship be a gating factor.
Right.
That's my point.
I totally agree. If you build something so cool, the sponsors will come to you and beg to sponsor that attraction. You're right.
Yeah, that's my point. All right. Anyway, last time for our last question of the day. Thank you for entertaining my silliness.
Please step down off your box.
Oh, sorry. All right, I'm done.
Okay.
It's time for our last question of the day. I'll give Mr. Newell 3 emails to choose from. 1 gets read today. The other 2 go back into the email queue to be answered later. Ready, Mike?
Yeah, let's see what we got in the bucket today.
All right, here's the email bucket.
I'm afraid.
A WDW Today space-time paradox. Walking boldly into the abyss, defying your advice. That's one email right there.
What?
And they miss an obvious one.
I'm going to go with the first one, just to shake it up a bit.
All right. Last email of the day is from Julia from Laurel, Maryland. Jewel from MD, with shout-outs to Erwin and little Lily, too.
Oh, that's right. The little one was just born during the last live show?
During one of our live shows.
Yeah.
I believe I had discovered a space-time paradox revolving around your show that needs a resolution, lest the entirety of the universe collapse upon itself. In a tweet discussion with Newell during or after the coverage of the last Sword of Endor event, I got confused about who snores during discussions of what. So apparently...
Wow.
Okay, this is what you were doing, Newell?
This just came in because I only had this conversation 24 hours ago.
So apparently, Newell snores during discussions of the marathon, and I'm guessing it was Scopa who snores during discussions of Star Wars weekends. That's right.
Right.
That's a good bet.
Well, my husband and I are Star Wars fans, and my family is doing the gamut of marathon weekend events. Husband doing half, me doing 5K, and the baby doing the diaper dash.
Nice.
It suddenly occurred to me, what if there was a Star Wars marathon weekend that had to be discussed? Would everyone be excited to talk about it, or would everyone fall asleep, creating a vortex of snores? Has my mentioning of this topic alone caused the end of the world as we know it? Oh well, I feel fine. Get it?
That's great. Nice.
REM reference right
Yes,
Yeah,
that's
that's
fun.
nice.
Keep up the good work, and see you at Reunion 2010, or depending on when you read this, Reunion 2011.
She
There you
accused me last night of pumping up, the last tour to Endor, but I snore all the time. I'd explained that it was not me that did the snoring during Star Talk as well.
Well, you and Scope have the same accent, so it's so hard to tell you
I
two apart.
guess, Rock the cat and have it yad.
Well, don't forget that this episode of WDW Today is being sponsored by MEI and Mouse Fan Travel. And hey, you want to come to Reunion just like Jewel from Maryland just mentioned,
And
you
the
can be
baby.
part of it. What was that, Mike?
And the baby. Baby's
And the
coming.
baby. That's right. But you know what? If you want to be part of Reunion, why not book through MEI and Mouse Fan Travel? I mean, you can book almost anything, but if you book with MEI and Mouse Fan Travel, they're going to give you two good reasons to book with them for Reunion. One is free admission to 2 guests to their client appreciation signature event, and a 24-hour head start on any Reunion event tickets that go on sale just for people that book with MEI and Mouse Fan Travel. So give them a shot. Go to www.mousefantravel.com. To find our older episodes, read our show notes, or send us your comments, visit the WDW Today website at wdwtoday.com. For Len Testa, Mike Sopa, and Mike Newell, I'm Matt Hochberg. We'll see you on the next show.
See ya.
You choking yourself while snoring?
Stupid Judy, stupid energy.
This has been a production of Mouse World Radio.